Hello and welcome. At the outset, I want to state that as a teenager I spent way too much time on the beach sunbathing. Well, in Australia that's what you do. And that brings me to the reason for this talk. No one doubts that there are risks peculiar to working in specific industries. You might think of silicosis as a hazard in mining or in stone engraving. The bends are an ever-present risk to commercial divers. Working in foundries, there is a risk of burns. These are not work-related injuries as such, but risks you accept in performing a job. It might surprise you to learn that airline captains, especially those on international routes, suffer twice the rate of melanomas, skin cancers, as the general population, according to a study in JAMA Dermatology. The lesions are often on the captain's left arm. These pilots fly in the left seat adjacent to a window. So why don't co-pilots suffer as much? Because as yet they haven't built up the flying hours of a captain. Determining what were the causes of these cancers focused on ionising radiation, engine exhaust gases, ozone, electromagnetic fields and radio frequency radiation, and lifestyle factors such as irregular working hours, disturbance of the circadian rhythm, and easy access to tax-free tobacco and alcohol. Cosmic radiation was considered of all those to be the most important risk factor. The further you ascend into the Earth's atmosphere, the more you are exposed to the sun's ultraviolet rays. One study measuring the UV radiation in the pilot seat of a turboprop airplane found that flying for under an hour at 30,000 feet had the same UVA carcinogenic radiation exposure as a 20-minute tanning bed session. Flying at high altitudes means increased exposure to cosmic radiation, which is a high-energy radiation normally filtered by the time it reaches Earth. While pilots and flight attendants are exposed to less than the maximum recommended levels of cosmic radiation, it's nevertheless one risk factor that has been speculated. The FAA's policy states that pilots diagnosed with advanced skin cancer cannot fly until the cancer is removed. When it is, medical certification performed by an aviation medical examiner depends on the type of skin cancer and the extent of disease. The Aviation Medical Advisory Service, the Aeromedical Office of the Airline Pilots Association International, the largest airline pilot union in the world, outlines on its website different types of skin cancers, their characteristics, treatment options and prevention tips. In America, 3.5 million new cases of skin cancer are diagnosed every year, most being treatable, especially with early detection. Over half of those occurred in people over 50 years of age, and Caucasians have 20 times the risk as African Americans. It is the ultraviolet UV portion of the sun's electromagnetic spectrum which causes damage to the skin. The UV portion is divided into UVA and UVB. The most damaging portion is the UVB, followed by UVA2 and UVA1. Skin damage and cancer is caused by damage to the DNA in skin cells. Changes in DNA are cumulative. 80% of a lifetime's exposure to the sun occurs before we are 18 years of age. Did you spend time sunbathing as a teenager? DNA damage can lead to abnormal growth in cells, which over time may cause cancer. The damage may cause premature wrinkling and aging of the skin. If a pilot's uniform doesn't include long-sleeved shirts, then I strongly recommend application of a good sunblock. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and use sunblock.